The Isle of Wight, the Garden Isle, England in miniature. Separated from mainland Britain by that small stretch of water, the Solent, and with a Victorian charm all its own, the island is a relaxing and wonderful place for a holiday. Ryde Pier is half a mile long, the second longest in Britain, and one of the oldest. It was opened in 1814. British Rail, ex-Piccadilly-style tube trains travel down it to meet each new catamaran as it arrives with visitors. The Hovercraft plies across from Southsea, arriving onto the foreshore beside the esplanade. The town behind is busy with shoppers and trippers. In Union Street is the Royal Squadron Hotel, where Queen Victoria stayed as a girl. The Royal Victoria Arcade adds a grand air to the shops. in St. Thomas churchyard is a reminder that it was from the Mother Bank in the Solent that the first convicts were sent to the new colonies in Australia. The seafront has many large hotels, the Pavilion Theatre, 2 outdoor swimming pools, a paddling pool, and the beautiful boating lake. There are plenty of old, pretty English villages on the island. In the unspoilt village of Calbourne, Winkle Street is as pretty as a picture postcard. Nestling under the Brading Downs, the tiny village of Newchurch has a pretty little post office, the Pointer pub, and an interesting old church, and the quietness of the countryside. Perhaps the best known village is Godshill, where after a summer day's cream tea there are lots of interesting exhibitions to view, like the old Smithy's Garden and the Natural History Museum. The model village, with its wonderful miniature display in the gardens of the old vicarage, is certainly worth the visit. thatched cottages grouped around the old church make a beautiful picture. For a wonderful day out for the whole family, Blackgang Chine is a must. Built on the crumbling southern coastline, it is a delightful trip into the fantasy land of imagination, with dinosaurs and Wild West settings and an enormous number of displays, with illuminations in the evenings during the season. St. Catherine's Quay has exhibits of maritime past, and the sawmill features timber set around a replica of a Victorian water-powered mill. Further along the coast westward, we come to Freshwater Bay. This part of the island remains unspoilt and remote, and is crisscrossed with well signposted public footpaths along the coast and inland. At Freshwater, the poet Tennyson spent 30 years in his house Farringford, at the foot of the beautiful down which bears his name. On the Freshwater Road is Calbourne Mill. Its millstones are still in working order, and the cakes and biscuits baked here are well known on the island. The pleasant park setting has ponds and streams, with attractive water birds, and a rural museum to visit. Between Freshwater and Shanklin there are a dozen chines, steep, narrow ravines, the perfect environment for lush vegetation. A 40-foot waterfall flows down through the famous Shanklin chine to the sandy beach below. The wide, curved bay holds one of the highest sunshine records for the whole of the British Isles. Above the beach, the old village is like an embroidered old English scene, with thatched cottages, including the popular Crab Inn. Newport is now the busiest town on the island, but it still retains a pleasant, unhurried approach. The colonnaded Guild Hall was designed by John Nash, and the clock tower was added later to celebrate Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee. At the lower end of the town is the River Medina and the Arts Centre, a place for a delightful escape from the town centre. At the pirate ship moored here, you can have a hearty feast in real buccaneer style. Shalfleet lies between Newport and Yarmouth on the Solent coast. Just a tiny village, it has many pretty glimpses of the charm of the English country way of life. The old harbour town of Yarmouth was in the Middle Ages the most important town on the island. The George Hotel was once the governor's house. The castle was built by Henry VIII against invasion by the French. Now the harbour is its most important asset, with car ferries to and from Lymington, and a sheltered mooring for yachtsmen. The most well-known place on the Isle of Wight must be the Needles. 3 jagged rocks rise out of the sea, marking the end of the ridge of chalk that stretches across the island. The chairlift will take you down to Alum Bay, where the cliffs are famous for their distinctive coloured sands. range of shops and exhibitions lies at the top of the cliff to visit before leaving this beautiful landmark. In the Middle Ages, Newtown was a thriving port, famous for its tall ships and oysters. But the shifting clay silted up the harbour, and the town went into dramatic decline, leaving only the little Georgian town hall standing by itself in the fields. Seaview is like a miniature Cowes with its own yacht club, busy in the yachting season with visitors. The sand flats stretch out half a mile when the tide is out, curving round Puckpool Point, leaving delightful rock pools to explore. A leisurely day out can be spent at Flamingo Park at Seaview. There are many species of colourful birds in beautiful surroundings to enjoy. This is one of the few places in the world where Chilean flamingos have been bred in captivity. Bembridge Bembridge, with its wide circular haven of Brading Harbour, is mostly used by local fishermen and yachtsmen, and there is a fine sandy beach. Winds up the hill from the shore past the Pilot Boat Inn to the Maritime Museum. The 18th century windmill is the last one remaining on the island, and a landmark from the sea. Fishermen may try their luck at the end of Sandown Pier, where plenty of large catches have been recorded over the years. Sandown is central to 2 miles of golden beaches, and from the pier the seafront stretches along with large hotels and guest houses. This is a popular holiday resort, and in a variety of ways Sandown entertains its visitors. There is the Pier Theatre with top-class performers, and many amusements for the whole family, including a zoo, a weekly market, and a comprehensive leisure centre. With plenty of self-catering flats and hotels to choose from, it provides a delightful setting for family holidays. From Sandown or Bembridge Airport, take a pleasure flight and get a bird's eye view of the beautiful island laid out below you. Brickfield's Horse Country Centre provides a fascinating look at horsepower, with Shire horses, miniature Shetlands and valuable racehorses, and a wonderful carriage collection. The Equestrian Centre here has show jumping and dressage on display, and there are stables to view and the opportunity for carriage rides, drawn by the gentle giant Shire horses. For the steam train enthusiast, Haven Street is a great place to visit. The only remaining part of a once flourishing network is 1.5 miles long, and there is a display of rolling stock and a small museum, with a chance to ride every Sunday and a summer steam show in August. There are many lovely manor houses open to the public. Hazley Manor has a water and herb garden, the largest pottery studio on the island, and the house has been beautifully restored. Arreton Manor was mentioned in the Domesday Book and has a rich and exciting history. It has a restaurant and there are several interesting antique collections on display. This fine old manor once belonged to King Alfred. to Barton Manor, which was often visited by Queen Victoria because of being virtually next door to Osborne. Barton has a vineyard and produces excellent wine, as well as having beautiful gardens. Prince Albert designed Osborne for Queen Victoria, and they spent many happy times there together. He developed the estate and started a model farm, and it was to the Queen her little paradise. Half a mile away from the house, Prince Albert installed the Swiss cottage, a life-size playhouse for the children to learn domestic skills in the delightful and carefree surroundings of the fields and woods. The Queen could bathe from the elegant high-wheeled bathing machine and enjoy the island with very little need to leave the grounds, and it was to Osborne she came on Albert's death for consolation. The house and grounds are now open to the public. It was to Carisbrooke Castle that Charles I and his family came, while in heated negotiations with Parliament in June 1647, and he remained there under guard until 1648, and his execution in Whitehall. The Castle Museum has several relics, including a lace nightcap worn the night before his death. There is a social history museum and a water treadmill, which with the help of the charming castle donkeys raises water from the ancient well. There are 71 steps up to the imposing keep, and there are some splendid island views to be seen from the high rampart walls of the castle. For an enjoyable day out, Robin Hill Country Park has 80 acres of down and woodland, with fun for the children, an assault course for those who are feeling brave, and plenty of birds and animals to see. bridges that you can walk through enable you to get quite near to the animals, who certainly seem to enjoy their lifestyle. The River Medina divides the town of Cowes into two distinct parts, making the harbour excellent for yachts. The hydrofoil and red funnel ferries bring many travellers from Southampton, and Cowes, from the last week in April to the August Cowes week, fills with excitement as the season heightens. On every street, ship chandlers provide everything a yachtsman could need, and there are many yacht clubs, with the Royal Yacht Squadron the grandest. Victoria Parade has 21 brass cannon to herald the start of the races and to fire royal salutes. This is an excellent vantage point from which to view the racing that makes Cowes world famous. At the workshops of Isle of Wight glass, visitors may view the craftsmen at work, creating beautiful glassware for worldwide sale. Ventnor, below the towering St. Boniface Down, is the oldest resort on the island, apart from Ryde, and is often compared with Mediterranean resorts. In the Sun-Trap Bay, there's a model island in a paddling pool and a boating lake, and the zigzag descent to the beach is decorated with the colourful cascade gardens. Carnivals are held in all the resorts, and great preparations are made to make each one an exciting summer occasion. The landscaped indoor garden of Butterfly World is a photographer's paradise. There are hundreds of exotic butterflies in charming floral surroundings, with ponds and streams and a waterfall. Several varieties of tiny birds and colourful butterflies flying freely as you walk make this an enthralling tropical experience. Wootton Creek gently winds from the mill pond by the bridge and the Sloop Inn down to Fishbourne, where the Sea-Link car ferry lands. Reputed to be one of the oldest island villages, Brading has an ancient church. Osborne Smith's Wax Museum is full of exciting exhibits, and it has one of the prettiest courtyards in England. The Doll Museum has more than 1,000 antique dolls and toys, a collector's shop, and a doll's hospital. Nearby are the lovely gardens and tea rooms at Morton Manor, and historic Nunwell House. The old town hall, with its original stocks and whipping post, and the nearby Roman villa, make Brading a fascinating final stop for the tourist. There is so much to discover and enjoy. Once you have been to the island, you will want to return again and again to the beautiful Isle of Wight.